They also fired their general manager, Dave Caldwell, so they're looking to start over. The Browns' reboot and restart has been quite all right this year with Kevin Stefanski. You remember it had that week 1 debacle. They look as bad as they've ever looked. They've turned it around. They're 8-3 for the first time since 1994 when Bill Belichick was their coach. They were 11-5 that year. Yesterday's win was also their 8th of the season, which means, Key, they have clinched a non-losing season. Obviously, the worst they can be is 8-8. They have clinched a non-losing season for the first time since 2007. And the playoffs certainly look, obviously with the Steelers winning the division, the wild card certainly looks like they are in great shape.
And within reach. And I got them at a 10-win season plus. I just, originally I thought that they would win the division. If you go back and you research our show, I said that the Browns are going to win the division. I didn't know that the Steelers would be playing as well as they played. But then obviously I'm taken back by that. But I'm still satisfied and happy with the Browns if they make the wild card. Think about it, though. What in the hell? In all honesty, in a year's time, 8 wins in a year's time. 2 years ago, Hugh Jackson out, Greg Williams in as the interim coach, offensive play caller Freddie Kitchens. Season ends, you got a chance. John Dorsey has a chance to hire all these different people.
The old GM.
The old general manager. What made him wake up the next day and think or sleep and go, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to hire Freddie Kitchens as our coordinator, or as our head coach, and have him call plays. I always say this, I don't understand how these guys go about doing their jobs when they've been in the league so long, but you hired Freddie Kitchens when guys like Kevin Stefanski are out there in the universe to hire as your head coach. They go and they hire him. Now you look back at it, you're like, why did they ever hire John in the first place to be the general manager? Because clearly they've gotten it right. You look at Baker Mayfield yesterday, he was 19 of 29, 253 yards, 2 touchdowns against the Jags and no interceptions. Recipe for success, not disaster.
I just want everybody to keep the same energy, because the energy around Baker Mayfield was that, well, he's number 1 pick. He's not living expectations. He's not going to be the guy long term. This is a run team first. All these things could be true. I understand. But, Key, you made mention of this, and it is so pivotal. You just got to keep going, forge through, and be patient. Now they're in a wild card position. He played extremely well yesterday. Yes, Nick Chubbs, Kareem Hunt, they're incredible running backs. They are going to play that way. Give Kevin Stefanski a lot of credit. But still, Baker Mayfield has showed you with the right system that he can be successful. Even though expectations may not be, he's no longer the savior, the Patrick Mahomes, but it is something serviceable. I mean, ask the Chicago Bears. I'm sure they would love to have Baker Mayfield as their quarterback.
Well, or better yet, have Kevin Stefanski as their head coach, because it's more the head coach than it is Baker Mayfield, Jay, in terms of putting him in a position to succeed and not a position to fail. And I think that is the most important thing that we got to look at, is he's not asked to carry it. Although when you're selected as the number 1 overall pick, and particularly at quarterback, individual people out there believe that you're supposed to throw the ball all over the lot. You're supposed to do all these sort of things.
That's not true, right, Keith?
It's not true. I wouldn't have never selected Baker Mayfield as the number 1 overall pick, because I'm now forcing myself to have to do exactly what I said, throw the ball all over the place, because he's a number 1 overall guy. In this system and what they're doing in Cleveland, he didn't have to be the number 1 overall pick. If Kevin Stefanski and this regime and Barry, the general manager, was selecting the number 1 overall pick 3 years ago, I can almost guarantee you it wouldn't have been Baker Mayfield because of their philosophy and what they want to do.
But, Key, in drafts, and let me know how it is in football, how many times do we see the number 1 pick just come in and dominate right out of the gate? Like, dominate. Doesn't system have something to do with whether you're going to be dominant or not? Like, prime example, yeah. I was second pick in the draft. We played the triangle. Like, my system wasn't conducive with the way I played. And by the time I got halfway through the season, I had to learn a whole new system, right? So system does somehow have something to do with how successful you're going to be.
It does, but to justify you being the number 1 overall pick at quarterback, people assume when you take a guy that high that everything has to be built around him throwing the ball everywhere, opposed to being a sort of kind of like a game manager type.
A key cog.
That he is.
Yeah.
And he's not going to make the mistakes they're going to win. But I'm not putting him in a drop back 40 times. I don't have him in an empty set, which he was in college. Hugh Jackson, former head coach, was on with us a couple weeks ago or a week or so ago. And Hugh said that Baker Mayfield would have more and better success if he was in shotgun. That's not true, because it ain't about Baker having success. It's about the team having success. It's about us getting to the playoffs and winning. And if that means that we're going to play action pass it, we're going to run the hell out of the football, and he can make some throws here and there, and we're going to win, that's all I care about. It's the Kirk Cousins model in Minnesota. It's the a model of a guy who could be this solid quarterback. The early stages of Tom Brady with the New England Patriots when they won 2 Super Bowls, dominant defense, Antoine Smith and Corey Dillon at the running back spots. That's how they won. They didn't win on Brady throwing 50 times a game. But when you draft a guy high, everyone assumes that that's how you have to do things, and you don't. He just wouldn't have been drafted as a number 1 overall guy with those guys in the building.
I'm just saying there are a lot of drafts that I've gone through where you look at some of the top picks, and it's only rare, like out of the top 10 picks, like only 30% pan out in the NBA, right? So just because you're number 1, number 2 pick, depending upon what draft you're in, doesn't mean that you're going to automatically be successful.
Man, absolutely, Zubin, because people expect when you go high that you're supposed to do certain things. Even in my own career, being a number 1 overall pick, I got great numbers. I put my numbers up with anybody, especially at the time that I retired. But I played with 18 different damn quarterbacks. Yeah, so it's like I didn't have Steve Young my entire career, or Steve Young and Joe Montana, or Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. I kind of had to play with what they gave me, and it becomes hard.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus right now.